The best bits from the Planet Content Q&A. Star Citizen Live. I've been through the hour. I've chopped it down to the very best bits. Some very interesting stuff about Pyro and Nyx in there right at the end. Let's get into it. First up, a couple of questions about rivers, lavas, and roads.
With the work on rivers, they're obviously like the bridge to lava. It feels very close, and we're definitely planning to do lava and also probably retroactively on Pyro after the release. But I'm very unsure right now if it's gonna like make the deadline for the initial Pyro release to actually have flowing lava rivers. But it's definitely planned, and once rivers are fully there, I think the next step shouldn't be a big one to get to lava rivers.
What is the overlap in labor between roads, rivers, and lava throws? You already mentioned, Sebastian, that rivers and lava are kind of like the inverse or whatever. It's what is the overlap? Does the river work just automatically get us roads and lava, or how does this work?
No. I mean, like, I assume the Planet Tech team will get into this a bit more in detail. But like a lot of the things that make a river work will also make a lava river work, right? Just like the name implies. And for roads, a lot of the tech that has been developed and is being developed for the rivers, like adjusting the terrain so it's like flat or like looks like a riverbed, can then be applied to make a road flat and drivable. And but there's still, I assume, I don't know, I'm not on that team, lots to do to make the roads happen. And it's most likely going to be more collaboration between Planet Tech and the locations teams, and not so much us. We're just like there for awareness, but I don't expect us to do all that much work with roads or on roads. So it's mostly going to be like connecting outposts and connecting cities. So it's, yeah.
Next, some talk about clouds and then a follow-up about weather.
So what we released with was like the V1 of clouds, basically. And there's like, I think it has been communicated plenty of times that we're still developing the technology for it. And the long-term plan is certainly to have dynamic clouds, animated clouds, and having clouds form and dissipate based on climate and weather. Right now, the focus is more on performance, getting them to be as performant as they can be. And then there will be another round of quality and detail improvement to allow us to make more elaborate and more realistic formations of clouds and have more diversity within or on one planet, basically. And then either with that or after that, the plan will be or is to look into dynamic clouds, animating and forming and the whole cloud deal, basically. As part of our continued effort to improve our tools and pipelines, we're also working on more realistic global cloud generation. And part of that is definitely supercells and hurricanes that gather over oceans and then start moving towards land and stuff like that. Like for the first iteration, they will be static, obviously, unfortunately, but eventually the goal is definitely to have those. And we're like on all fronts, like even large scale and small scale. There are a lot of things we still want to improve and are working on to make better and more realistic.
The next question is basically, why haven't we seen a kind of dense jungle biome yet? What's going on? Why hasn't that happened?
I mean, the problem is twofold. I'm gonna touch on the technical side of things, like the larger issue, which is like with Star Citizen, we have to make things that work from all distances. So it needs to work from space, from orbit, and from the ground. And right now, but that's something that's actually being worked on soon, very soon, I hope, will be like a better representation of things in the distance on the GPU instead of the CPU, because then we can draw them much further out and in much higher quantities. And that's like a big blocker right now that prevents us from doing really dense anythings at a distance, and forest obviously being the big item that we as a team, and I guess the fans as well, and our art director, and I guess everybody wants, is pretty much the biggest thing that's like being held back by not being able to draw enough things good looking far out. But hopefully the Planet Tech team will touch on this in there if they come on the show and can elaborate a bit more on how they're gonna solve this issue. But it's definitely on one of the top priorities for our team, and I hope for everybody else as well.
Next, are we going to have more diverse biomes on a single planet than we've currently got?
Like if you compare to, like if you look at how we started, right, with Selen and Daemar and Yela, they were technically like Star Wars planets, right? They only had like one thing, and then we tried to like push it with every new release, and then eventually we had Microtech, right, which was like very different. You have like the icy, snowy parts, and then the lusher regions with the trees. So I don't think it's like a spoiler because people saw some of that already during SitCon, but I feel like Pyro and Nyx will push like the biome diversity to a degree that's different and better than what we have right now. So I think people will enjoy that when they eventually see it.
Next, a couple of questions about caves. First, are they going to get better, bigger? And then also, are we going to be able to fly through them?
We have plans to extend the current cave systems and add more archetypes. Rocky is what we have, but we want to improve the look of the rocky caves. Then desert caves that will fit nicely on Daemar, which obviously are going to look way different than the rocky caves. Then we're going to have hopefully caves that are more overgrown, like moss and lots of foliage, ice caves, and acidic caves. Yes.
It's obviously going to be a lot more work to make a cave as large that you can actually fly through and still maintain the same visual quality that you want when you walk through it. So there have been conversations about that, and I think they are eventually going to happen, but we're not working on them right now. Because somebody asked what the thing on the progress tracker is that's not announced on the Planet Content team. We're working on new cave archetypes. That's the thing we're going to do this year.
Now a question about harvestables for Pyro. And it happens to reveal something interesting about how long they've been working on Pyro, and actually it sounds as though they might be finished.
I think we already did some new harvestables Pyro in the past. It's been a while now again since we started work on Pyro. So I think they exist, but it's been over a year since we worked on those, maybe more.
That's not a spoiler, right?
No.
Okay, we made some new stuff.
We make new content for the new system. Sorry.
Surprise.
So notice how he's talking about the past tense when they've talked about working on Pyro. They've done some of this work a long time ago, and he's struggling to remember the harvestables that they've done, which suggests that this work that the content team have done, the planetary content team, is long done in the past, and they're not really working on Pyro from their point of view. Obviously, there's other things that will take up the Pyro system, that make up the Pyro system, or the space stations that seem to be quite early on in development. But for the content team, the planetary content team, and the planets, they seem to be pretty much done. And interestingly, as we then move on to Nyx, is a similar sort of story.
What can you tell us, if anything, about your work on Nyx?
We did work on that. Like lots of work. Looks pretty good. It's like we still have to do like one final polish pass on it. But before server meshing isn't ready. It's not us holding that back, I think.
Is Nyx a perfectly round thing, or how does it differ? It seems like it might be different. Go ahead. If you say anything anybody gets mad at, they'll get mad at me, not you.
Are you asking about Delamar? Like Nyx is a system.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm speaking of Delamar specifically.
Right. Every now and then we get asked to see if we can't make a non-spherical planet, and we try, and then something breaks horribly, and then we say we can't. So I think it's going to be a little bit less spherical than it is right now, and it was. Delamar was before, but it's not going to look like a potato, unfortunately.
Not with that attitude.
What? Yeah. I mean,
sorry, it's a bad American idiom. I apologize.
So Delamere is not going to be shaped like an asteroid or a potato. That's obviously slightly upsetting, but maybe they'll get to that one day. But again, what's interesting is that Nyx sounds like it's basically done. They did do this work, and they did a lot of it in the past, from what they're saying. And it sounds like just a polish is what's needed. So obviously that's just the planets themselves and the content on the planets that this team covers. The actual system, what to do, what points of interest around the system, what you do in the Nyx system. It sounds like that is probably nowhere near even started on, because Pyro, they're just working on the stations now and doing that sort of stuff. But the content team seem like they're flying basically, and they're being able to pump out these planets really very quickly, really, and obviously the moons as well. So who knows what they're working on now, but it'll be interesting to see when we get Nyx, because from the sounds of this, it could in theory come at the same time as Pyro, or not that far after it. So it will be interesting. But there you go, that's probably all the best bits from the Planet Content Q&A. Like, subscribe, join the Discord, become a channel member. That's enough. See you soon. Bye.